Good morning, students. Hope you have understood the chapter which we have discussed, that is chapter 1, Introduction of Macroeconomics, and chapter 2, that is Circular Flow of Income. And you have completed all the questions given to you with the worksheet given to you. So, in this chapter 3, we will discuss the national income and its aggregates. Earlier also, the circular flow of income is also one of the basics of national income and its aggregates, because these terms we will use, that how these components will be tackled out during calculation of national income. That's why it is whatever these components we are using, and that what is the operation of these components in further calculation of national income. So first, before starting the national income, we have to go through these components, that what is the operation of that, what does these components mean, whether they are included in the national income or not, and these are the terms. So in chapter 3, the first basics I will clear, that is the types of goods, that is final goods and intermediate goods. These chapters what I am taking is from book Radha Bahuguna, and if this book is not with you, no problem, the notes is being provided in the slides, go through it and write the notes in your classwork copy and complete the worksheet. I think you will understand, and if any problem you can just call me or send a doubt from mail to me. Okay, now let's start. So here we see that goods are of two types, that is final goods and intermediate goods. In microeconomics, we have seen that substitutes and complementary goods, that was at micro level. But when we see economy on the basis of all economy, so only these two types of goods are being there, which we have to study. That is being said that intermediate goods and final goods, the two types. So today I will tell you the method by which we will be able to understand the aggregation of this topic, concepts and the application of this topic with the help of practical examples, daily life practical examples. So it is very easy and very interesting topic. So you will find it in your daily life when you are purchasing things or you are reselling things. So you will be able to understand now that this is a intermediate goods and this is a final goods. So now if I say that you buy any goods for your own consumption, suppose you have bought a pen for your own consumption, that means you are the final consumer. You are writing with that pen, you only are purchased and you are writing with that pen, that you are the final consumer, then it is called a final goods. But if you have purchased that pen to resell it, then this goods become the intermediate goods, because you are not the ultimate consumer of that good which you have purchased, because you have purchased that goods to resell it, not you are using. The person, those who are purchasing it and using it, that is a final consumer. But if they are purchasing it to sell it to another production unit, to sell it or do the resale, then it is a intermediate good. So final goods are those goods which are finally consumed by the consumer, but if they are purchased not by the ultimate consumer, but they are purchased for the business purpose, either to resale or to use to make the finished good, then this type of good is called the intermediate goods. So in the slide we can see the example that the salt is purchased by the baker, so this salt is intermediate goods. But if this salt is consumed at home, then that is a consumer good, or we can say the final goods over here. In the final goods also we can see that the fabric which is used to make the shirts, that fabric is the intermediate goods. But if that fabric is purchased by the tailor also, so that fabric becomes the intermediate goods and the shirt becomes the final goods, that is shirt purchased by the particular person to, and he is consuming it. Suppose that person has purchased that shirt to resell it, then that shirt will be the intermediate goods only, and he has resale to a particular consumer. So that consumer has purchased that shirt and he is using that shirt, he is the ultimate consumer of that shirt, so that shirt will become the final goods. So there are two types of goods we have seen, final goods and intermediate goods. So intermediate goods are the ingredients or Ingredients are the components of finished goods. Either they are used to resell or they are used in the form to transform it. These, just for example, the salt is being transformed into a bread. It is used to make the bread. So here the existence of the salt has finished and it has given its quality to the bread. So that is what called the intermediate. But salt directly when we are using at home, purchasing and using at home, then it is called by the final goods. But that salt, if it is purchased by the restaurant, then that salt will be the intermediate goods. Understood? Hope in daily life you are seeing this. When we are using the purchasing the particular, suppose you have purchased a notebook and you are writing in that, then it will be a final good for you, consumer good for you. And if that register or notebook you are purchasing to resale, then it will become the intermediate goods. Next, what we will see in an example, with the example also it is clear that tire that is used to make the car, then it will be the called the tire will be the intermediate goods and car will be the final goods. But if that car is purchased by the consumer and finally he is using it, then it will be the consumer goods. But that car, if it is purchased by the showroom of the car seller, so that will be the intermediate goods, that car will be, because it will make the value addition in this. So he will clean the car and keep it and invest on that to make it the advertisement of the particular car. So that is will be what, that will be the intermediate goods for the showroom of the car owner. And now he has resale it to the consumer, then it becomes a final goods. Now here one more example is there, the cow milk. If that milk is used or purchased by the Amul factory to make the cheese, so that milk will be the intermediate goods, and cheese what the Amul is selling to the consumers, then that cheese will be the final good. If that cheese is purchased by the McDonald to make the burgers, then that cheese will, that McDonald is purchasing, is intermediate goods. But the cheese which is purchased by the households or consumers, direct ultimate consumers, then it will be the final goods. Here one more example, the mirror that is being used to make the specs, to goggles, so that mirror will be the intermediate goods, and the goggles that is being made and sold, that will be the final goods. Next we will see that goods are of two types, that is final goods and intermediate goods. Final goods, again the final goods are of two types, consumption goods and capital goods. Now what is consumption goods? Consumption goods, that we are purchasing it directly from the market and consuming it. The final consumer is buying it, no value addition is being done. So we know that final goods, there is no value addition, is no changes in that. As we purchase, we use it like this only. So that is a consumption good. Suppose biscuits, chips that we are using, purchasing it and just having it. So that will be a consumption goods. Now the one more types of final goods, that is called the capital. That means the capital goods is also a final goods. Capital goods come under the category of final goods. Don't be confused with the capital goods and intermediate goods, because capital goods is a part of final goods. So capital goods means the machinery, plant, building that we are using it to produce the other goods. They are helping in producing the other goods, and it is used year or year. From there is more than 1 year duration of their lifetime, so they are being used like machinery. Suppose a biscuit company has purchased purchased a machine to make the biscuits, so that machine will be the capital goods, or we can say it is a final goods, and that capital goods will come under the category of final goods. But the flour purchased by the sugar purchased by the biscuit factory will be the intermediate goods. Understood? So that is the difference, that capital goods are helpful in producing the other goods. We are not, when we are purchasing, suppose a factory owner, when he is going to purchase the machinery, so he is not adding any value in that, he is not changing the machinery, he is using that machine as it is. But that machine is helpful in producing the other goods. So for that factory owner, that machine will be the investment, that machine will be the capital goods, capital, fixed assets for him. So, and it will come under the category of final goods. But the factory owner purchasing the raw material will be the part of intermediate goods. Now, final goods, we have seen that consumption goods and capital goods. So, consumption goods that we are going and purchasing from the market and using it ultimately, we are the consumer owner. Suppose we have gone and purchased the bag and using it for our school purpose, that will be a consumption goods. Understood? And capital goods, the machine which has made the bag, that machine has been called the capital good, and it is also a final good. So, final goods are of two types, consumption goods and capital goods. So, what we have seen till now, that goods are of two types, final goods and intermediate goods. Final goods are those goods which are not transformed or they are not purchased to resale, they are as it is, they are being used. And again, the final goods are of two types, consumption goods that we purchase it and the ultimate by the ultimate consumer and consume it, and the capital goods, they are also purchased but they are indirectly being utilized to satisfy the wants. That means they are helpful in producing the other products. Then intermediate goods, that goods which we purchase to resale or we are using it as a raw material. So, that good will be called intermediate goods. I have given the example. Suppose a sugar is bought by the bakery shop, that will be a intermediate goods. And if the sugar is bought by the household, then it is a final goods and that sugar will come under the consumption goods. Understood? Clear? I think no confusion should be there. If any doubt is there, please ask me. Feel free to ask me. Next, what we will see, the definitions, that intermediate goods. Now, what is intermediate goods? That is the goods and services which are purchased by one production unit from other production unit during the year. Then what these intermediate goods include? That is first the raw materials, that is further in further processing that product is leaving its existence and changing and transforming into a finished goods. That raw material what we purchase, for example, flour used by the bakery shop to make the cake. Next, if we are using or purchasing that particular product to resale it, suppose dealers are purchasing, car dealers they are purchasing the cars to resale it, then it will be intermediate goods. If books is being purchased by the bookseller, then it will be intermediate goods. Then next is durable goods. It is very important, that is goods which are used primarily for military purposes, that is the government purchasing that bomb, car, military vehicle, aircraft, because these goods are generating the defense services. So, they are also treated as intermediate goods. This is an exceptions there. So, you have to remember this, keep in mind that these aircrafts, military, submarine, these are all intermediate goods and they perform the defense services. Next is, there are two characteristics of intermediate goods, that is purchased by one production unit from another production unit, we purchase it, and these goods processed and change their existence. Example, the flour is being purchased by the bakery shop, so the existence of the flour is being changed into a cake. Next, we will see the final goods. So, final goods, what are the final goods? That they are used for the final consumption or for the investment purpose. So, goods which are used either for the final consumption or by the consumers for the investment by the producers are called the final goods. There are no changes being made in that particular goods, as it is they are being used. So, final goods include durable goods like bicycle, cars, furniture, televisions, fans, etc. And non-durable goods, that is bread, biscuit, oil, soap, so that we use and it is less than 1 year, 1 month they are being finished. Daily use, daily life goods which we consume in a daily form. Next is capital goods also, that is the machine, equipment, trucks, tractors. So, a farmer if purchase the tractor, so tractor will be a capital goods for him and it will come under the category of final goods, because that tractor is used to plow the particular field. That tractor is used to take the goods produced from the village to the urban areas. So, that is what the capital goods. The farmer do not make any changes in the tractors, as it is used they are being utilized. Now we have also seen the types of final goods. There are two types: consumption goods and capital goods. So consumption goods which satisfy the human wants directly, that is, we have gone in the market, purchase it and consume it. Chips, you go and purchase and consume it. That is what? Consumption goods. But those goods, the chips making companies which have purchased that machine to produce the chips, that machine is what? Capital goods, and that capital goods come under the category of final goods. So these goods satisfy human wants indirectly. They are producing the chips, then only you are eating now. So that's why that will be a capital goods. These goods do not help you produce other goods. Chips produce anything more? No. So we go and purchase that chips and consume it. But the machine that is being purchased by the chips factory will be helpful in producing the chips. So these goods are used to produce other goods. Example, machinery, plant, building. These all come under the capital goods. Consumption goods, we know, the daily day-to-day life goods, we called it consumption. Directly in daily life we use it. Next we will see that what is the difference between them. That is very important. If one basic difference you have remember, that is the concept of intermediate goods. If you remember, then it is very easy to learn the final goods. That is a benefit of seeing the difference between the two particular components. So here what we have seen, that intermediate goods and final goods. So intermediate goods, they refer to those goods which are used either for resale or for further production. Same here. What we have seen in the earlier slides, that was that they are either used for the resale. For example, the car dealer purchased the car to resale it, so that is will be intermediate goods. If the sugar cane is purchased by the sugar factory to make the sugar, so sugar cane will be the intermediate goods. Then final goods, that is those goods which are used either for consumption or for investment. That suppose we have purchased the soap, that will be the, and we have consuming it, so that will be the final goods. If the soap making company has purchased that particular machine to make the soaps, so that machine will be the investment part, so it will come under the category of final goods, or we called it capital goods. Then machine will be a final goods, machine will be a capital goods, and capital goods come under the category of final goods. Next, intermediate goods are not being included in the national income. Why they are not included in the national income or domestic income? Because the double counting will be there. Suppose once the flour is being purchased by the bakery shop, and that will be included, again that flour is being used to make the cake, and again when he is selling the cake, it is being included in there. And when cake is sold to the retailer, when the cake is sold to the consumer, again the addition is being there. So double counting of the intermediate goods will be there. So that is the reason that when the bakery shop purchase the cake, so to find out what the value addition he has done by subtracting the intermediate goods, that value addition is we found that the value being added is called the, it's included in the national income. This concept we will see during the value added method in national income, and I will make it clear to you. But once think about it, that once the bakery shop has purchased the flour, that is being included, and again that is the cake is being made, again the value of flour is being included, so double counting will be there. So the true value of the national income cannot come out. Next, final goods, they are included in the national income. That what the value goods we are purchasing, that is being, what is the goods as a final goods is being produced in the economy, that is called the national income. It is included. Next, that is in intermediate goods, they are not ready to use. They are not ready to use, that is some value has to be added. So if the bakery shop said to you that this is the flour, you take it and make it your own cake, so can it be? No. So the bakery shop, at home we prepare the flour, but this is not the intermediate good, that flour, because that flour we are not using for the business purposes. But if the flour is being purchased to utilize to make the cake for the business purposes, for resale, for profit, then it will be a intermediate goods. Understood? So that's why a value is being added, we cannot use it directly. And when there is a profit included in that, that will be to resale or transform into a finished goods. So that's why these goods need to be, a value addition is being needed in these goods. So this is called the intermediate goods. Next, they are ready for use by the final users. So I have seen that you have purchased the biscuit and consume it. You do not add anything in that. The farmer purchased the tractor. He do not add anything in that tractor. He use that as it is. So that is what final goods. With intermediate goods, they are still in the production boundary. They do not go out of the boundary till they are there in the production boundary. They do not go from the, as factory has having the boundary walls. So till the product is under the boundary wall, it is the intermediate goods. The process keeps on going till it do not go to the final consumer. So when it is sold to the ultimate consumer, then it is a final good. Till the value addition process is going on, then it is a intermediate goods. And as they cross the production boundary, they become the final goods. Next, they are transformed in the process of production. That means the sugar cane is being crushed and make the sugar. So that is what we are transforming the sugar cane into a sugar. So transformation process is being there, but in final good there is no transforming process. When we use the sugar directly, that will be we are not transforming the sugar, we are just consuming it directly. So that will be or suppose we are buying the sugar cane only, so we are consuming it directly. We do not make sugar as household, we do not make, because we are not having the profit motive. We are not want to going to establish a factory. So as we think that we will establish a factory of sugar, so that sugar cane, if we are purchasing, then again it will become the intermediate good. So that's why when we are using that product or consuming that without any transformation for ultimate consumer, then it will become the final goods. Example, for the best is example, you see your day-to-day life example, you will never get confused. That is example, here we can see in intermediate goods that milk is used for the dairy shop for resale, or milk is used by the sweet shops to make the various varieties of sweets. That will be an intermediate goods because they are transforming their process. And next, the final goods, that if milk is purchased by the household, directly we consume as we purchase the milk, we directly consume it. And because we are adding the value to that at home, but not for the business purposes, we are doing that. Now for our consumption only, we are using that milk and making the sweets at home without any profit motive. So that will be a final goods for us. Next, sugar cane used by the sugar making factory. So that sugar cane will be the intermediate goods and sugar will become the final goods. If that sugar is purchased by the household, then it will be a final good. And if the sugar is purchased by the bakery shop, then that sugar will be the intermediate. So it depends on the use of the particular goods, that who is purchasing it and for what purpose it is using it. If the factory is purchasing the sugar to make the biscuits, then it is a business purpose and the factory owner is purchasing, so it will become the intermediate goods. If that sugar is purchased by the household, no profit motive is there, no business objective is there, only the objective is final consumption. So that will be the final goods. Hope you have understood properly. If you have not understood, again see the video properly. You will understood surely, because it's a very interesting topic and you can find these difference between the intermediate and final goods in your daily examples. So this is the some of the points I have given, scenario I have given to segregate between the intermediate goods and final goods. So do it in your copy after completing the notes what I have given. So I think you will be understood. If any doubt, please call me or send the questions on mail or WhatsApp, whatever you feel free to ask the doubts, because if these concepts will not be clear to you, so you will be not able to solve the national income questions. So that's why I am going very slowly with you all people. I think this is helping, this video lectures are helping you. So keep on giving your response. Thank you.